Hello everyone, welcome back once again to my channel. My name is Amir Poonawala. I am a licensed immigration advisor for New Zealand and migration agent for Australia here at G.E.M.S International. Our office is based in Auckland, City of New Zealand. And yes, please click the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel so that you can get regular updates about various immigration um, changes to various policies and procedures, and also you can get updates on the current developments happening on the immigration forefront, as well as you will get to know about how to various applications for various different visas. Thank you. Like always, before we start our today's video, I would like to read out our legal disclaimer for this video as follows. This video has been made for general knowledge and information sharing purpose, sourced from publicly available information, and does not in any way constitute as immigration advice from my side. The owner of this video, that is myself, is not liable in any way whatsoever for the information provided in this video. The immigration policies, procedures, fees, legislation, and other statutory requirements may change at any time, and obviously we have no control or influence over this. And the content of this video may become irrelevant or obsolete. Please exercise due diligence before taking any steps with regards to your immigration matter and or visa application, and preferably avail professional help and advice for each of your unique situation if you wish. You agree to and understand this before watching this video. Thank you. As you are probably aware by now that I am busy preparing several videos for YouTube. The another burning topic that we have on hand today, about which we are going to have a general discussion and a bit of update, is the parent category residence visa application for New Zealand. And I'm sure those of you who are watching this video are probably in a predicament where either you had applied for a parent category residence visa for your parents, or you are wanting to apply for a parent category residence visa for your parents who are currently overseas. This video, I believe, will be quite useful in terms of what is involved when it comes to making such an application. We have been receiving quite a number of calls regarding this category of applications, and I find myself repeating the same information again and again to various people. So I have thought of preparing this video. So most likely I will be sharing a link to this video to all such future inquiries that we may receive. But you are always welcome to call me if you need any further clarification, or if you have any other questions that have not been covered in this video. On most occasions, many of our clients contact us when the damage has already been done to their visa application, or they have received a lengthy PPI letter, which could be a letter asking for further information um, for the application that was submitted, obviously due to lack of adequate supporting documentation, or there could be any other situation. There could be some uh, findings in the medical report that was submitted, or there could be some character issues. There can be various issues, and mostly we get contacted when someone has received such a letter or an intimation from the respective immigration department. I have always said again and again in all my videos to all our viewers and prospective visa applicants, and I would like to point it out once again in this video, that please understand that making a visa application is not all about filling forms. I mean, filling a form anybody can do, I mean, that is not what we are here for. We are here to ensure that your application is complete in all respects. When I say all respects, I would like to rephrase it: complete in all respects from the technical aspect. You see? So that is what we are here for, and I sincerely request you that you take the help of a professional, uh, especially when it comes to making a residence visa application or any other application for that matter. This will ensure that your application has been well prepared, well submitted, on time, and in the right manner. And this whole process of preparing a complete visa application submission the way the immigration department would like to see and receive is basically our expertise, and this is what we are experienced in. So I highly recommend that you utilize our expertise in lodging your visa applications. Um, so there is very less room for any errors to occur or happen during the whole process, and we believe in getting it right first time. So this has been our mantra, our policy, and we apply this mantra to every single application. We also continue to liaise with the immigration department once your application has been submitted, uh, till the finalization of your application or till the outcome of your application has been received. And during this whole process, we also keep you updated, we also keep you in the loop, so you are aware as to where you stand at any given point of time. However, you must always remember that there is no such thing as 100% guaranteed visa. As you can understand that the decision of whether to grant you a visa or not is solely in the hands of the concerned immigration department or authority. And like I mentioned earlier, we have absolutely no control or influence over that. But yes, we will continue to utilize our professional skills and our vast experience that we have in this area to achieve the result that you are after. And this is what we specialize in, and this is what we have been helping countless number of applicants to achieve success with their applications. Thank you for your understanding. Okay, so coming back to the parent category residence visa application for New Zealand, I would like to give you a quick update on what has happened with this category. Is for the last few years, uh, the government decided to suspend this category, and there are various reasons behind this. We are not going to get into that in this video. Later, um, last year in October, this category was also temporarily closed since the immigration department was formulating a new set of policies, procedures, and instructions to come up with under the new parent category visa policy. So finally, the new policy was launched in February this year, 2020, and there are some good number of changes that we are going to touch so as to enlighten you on what this policy is all about. Okay, so let's get the basics right um, in terms of how you can lodge a parent category residence application. So currently you can only submit a parent category EOI and residence application on a paper-based application. Since the online enhancements which the immigration department is carrying out is work in progress, so we are not yet uh, aware as to when the online developments will be launched and we will be able to do this online. Normally, our preferred mode of submitting any application is through the online channel, but in this instance, for example, when the online method is not available, we have been doing rather paper applications for our parent category clients. If this is the first time you are making a visa application for New Zealand, I'm sure you will have come across a bunch of unauthorized agents in your city who would be willing to get this done for you. And chances are they will give you a basket full of false promises and whatnot. So my sincere request to you is not to fall prey to such false promises from unauthorized agents, and also it could impact your application in a not so favorable way, when you are dealing with an unauthorized agent. So please take professional help on this front and stay away from unauthorized agents. Last year, I recall there was a lot of hoo-ha when this category was temporarily closed, and it was all over the media, all over the social media, and many New Zealand residents and New Zealanders whose parents are still overseas they were really concerned as to what will happen uh, in terms of the new policy which was launched, which was reopened on the 24th of February 2020. So let's have a quick look at what else was changed in the policy. Um, if you remember, or if you have any idea about the old policy, you will know the old policy had a two-tier system. So there were two different set of criterias um, in order for one to make an application. However, with the new policy, there is only a one-tier system, and all the criterias are accommodated in this tier itself. So there is no tier 1 and tier 2. In this new policy, applicants, similar to the old policy, applicants under this category can be sponsored by an adult child or an adult child and their partner together. It also requires the adult child and partner to meet with the sponsorship requirements. If joint income has been taken into account for sponsorship requirement purpose, it also requires sponsors to meet the income criteria for 2 out of 3 years before the application for residence has been made, and to provide evidence of their annual income through inland revenue tax statements. This new policy also takes into account the total number of parents that sponsors are committed to sponsor, including previous resident visas granted under the parent category, when determining the income criteria for an application. Another critical element that has now changed dramatically is the income requirements of a sponsor to be able to sponsor their parents under this category. And these income figures look pretty astronomical. Um, Even before the COVID-19 crisis. But again, after COVID-19, they really look astronomical because the income criteria has been set to such a high level that very few people will uh, fall in that bracket and find themselves eligible to be even starting this process. So what are the income figures we are talking about? Now again, a very important point I would like you to remember here is that the sponsor's income requirement will vary depending on the number of parents they are sponsoring. For example, are they sponsoring one parent, two parent, or parents from both sides? Uh, so that could be altogether four parents. So this is something you will have to keep in mind because there is a table. I have provided a link in the comment section of this video which you can click and view the complete table of the various income requirements uh, in both scenarios where the sponsor uh, could be either alone sponsoring a parent or parents, or it could be a joint sponsors where uh, both the couple are sponsoring their parents. In case if you are not able to click the link and retrieve the income table, you can get in touch with me and I will update you regarding that. Also remember that there are a bunch of other health, character and English language requirements to be met in order to qualify under this category apart from various other requirements. Okay, so let's get down to the flowchart of the steps one must take to apply for an expression of interest and residence visa application under the new parent category uh, policy for New Zealand. You must also remember that currently, due to the COVID-19 crisis, the selection of expression of interest has been suspended indefinitely. But quite obviously, it will reopen sometime in the near future. We don't know the exact date, but it's good to know what the process involved is, as this will give you a fairly good idea as to what to do. So, step one is quite obvious that you must know in the first place whether you are eligible to even start this process or not. And how can you find that? Pretty simple. You must preferably get a formal assessment done from a licensed immigration advisor to find out whether you are eligible to make an application under this category. Many people take this process lightly, or they could go around taking help from friends and relatives to get their own assessment done. Trust me, this is a very crucial step. If you get this step wrong, all your whole process down the line, the money, the time, the effort you have invested could go waste. So please take expert help and get this first step right to know that yes, you are eligible, and then you can proceed with the next step. So let's say, for example, we do a formal assessment for you and find out that you are eligible to apply for residence in New Zealand under this category. Congratulations. Then comes the next step, as always, to start arranging all supporting documents which will be required for your application. And in order for you to smoothly arrange all the required documents, we always provide a customized checklist of the supporting documents required for this application. So you can take your time and make sure that everything has been arranged before you come back to us with the bunch of all the supporting documents. Now again, due to the exhaustive nature of this list of supporting documents, we will not go through this whole list, uh, but we will explain this to you once you are on board with us, and we will explain to you in depth each item, each document that is required, and in some instances, we will also guide you how to obtain those documents. So let's say, for example, we received all the supporting documents from you, we compiled everything, and we submitted your expression of interest under the parent category. Once the expression of interest is submitted, it goes into a pool as usual, and then the selection process starts. Okay, you must remember under this category, there is no such thing like points required or anything. This is different to the skilled migrant category residence application. So don't mix those two things. Um, this is pretty straightforward uh, compared to the skilled migrant category. So let's say, for example, your expression of interest gets selected from the pool. What happens next is the respective immigration department starts their preliminary assessment and checks of all the facts and figures that you have indicated in your expression of interest. Now remember that when the immigration officer is going through your expression of interest, um, they may realize that um, you may or may not meet the new policy uh, in order to submit an expression of interest. Uh, we have seen many people doing this silly mistake of submitting an application when they are not eligible in the first place. And this is where I again and again would like to tell you that you can utilize our expertise in this area uh, to your own advantage, and you can rely on us to get a thorough assessment done for you. This is very critical. Once a thorough assessment is done, you will have peace of mind that you are eligible, and then you are taking the next steps. Like I said earlier, due to the COVID-19 crisis, it has become all the more challenging for many people to meet. When I say many people, it is the sponsors basically, to meet the income criteria. Um, so if you do meet the criteria, yes, we are more than willing to take over your case, uh, which will be quite obvious to you once you review the income requirement table link given in this comment section of the video. Okay, so let's say again, for example, your expression of interest has been checked, verified, and the immigration officer finds everything all right. The next thing that will happen is you will receive an invitation to apply for residence in New Zealand. And trust me, we are still in the very early stages of your application processing journey. Once your invitation to apply for residence has been received, you will have 4 months to provide us with all the required documentation so that we can compile and submit your residence application to the concerned immigration department. We normally request all our clients to make an early start as soon as they receive this invitation letter, and we expect that you come back to us within 3 months and not at the last minute or the 11th hour, because we also again need time to review all your documentation, which in most instances that we have seen is likely to be incomplete in one way or the other. So again, we have to advise you what to do, what not to do, and this could consume time, when especially when you are overseas and some documents might need to be couriered, or there could be various issues, various challenges in the way. So the sooner you complete your organizing your supporting documentation, the better for us, and it's better for you as well. And we can then get your application submitted ASAP without waiting till the last minute. So let's say in a situation where for any reasons you have not been able to provide us the required documents, or the documentation required is not adequate enough for us to submit your residence application within that 4 months time frame. What is likely to happen in this situation is that the invitation to apply for residence will lapse, and once this has lapsed, there is no way you can forward the application to the immigration department again for this particular application number. You will have to redo the whole process and resubmit a fresh expression of interest and wait for a new invitation and then carry on with the process. So this is very, very important. So please bear that in mind at all times. So let's say you have managed to organize all the supporting documents, and we have received everything in order. We compile and we submit your residence application to the respective department. And once this is done, you must allow several years. I would say several years. I cannot give you a figure of the number of years it may take to process your application. Again, now due to the COVID-19 crisis and all the restructure of the immigrations department which has been going on, and many overseas offices. At the moment, all overseas offices are closed, and we don't know how many of them will ever reopen or what would be the scenario down the line. So, the processing part or the amount of time it will take to process such an application, the best way to find this out is to check the immigration website. Or if you can't find, then you can get in touch with us and we will check the latest information and advise you what's happening with your application. Until that time, your application, you have to know and understand that it is in the queue. The day it gets allocated to an immigration officer, there are chances they will intimate us by an email saying blah blah we have received, or if they want any further documentation they will inform us. So that is when we know that your application has now been allocated to a particular immigration officer. But trust me, the processing time frame is quite lengthy. You will have to have patience. I have said several years. So I hope you understand that aspect of this application. Okay, so another thing that you must remember while your application is being processed is that there could be some change in your circumstances. Um, for example, the most likely change that occurs in such application scenarios is the change in the income of your sponsor. So if such a thing has happened, you must you must inform us. We will look at it at that point of time, whether you still meet the required policy or not. Uh, and once we have analyzed all the facts and figures, we will let you know at that stage whether you still are eligible or we need to simply withdraw your application, because you must remain eligible, and you must meet the criteria of this category at all times. So this is where the change in circumstances, it could be a change in your residential location wherever you are living overseas, you need to inform us. Or there could be a change in your relationship status. So whatever the change may be, if you don't know whether this has to be informed or not, you still get in touch with us, let us know, and we will let you know whether this information is required to be forwarded to the immigration department or not. So please bear that in mind. Okay, so let's jump to the point uh, where your application actually gets allocated to a case officer in the immigration department. This could happen after several years, depending on the volume of applications that have been received by the immigration department or the team that handles these applications. So let's say you now have a case officer allocated. What happens now is the officer starts verifying all the documentation, your credentials, your supporting documentations, your the medical team starts checking your medical reports, your police verification, etc., etc. Is all these all documents start getting checked, and this checking and verification also could last for several months. It is not a quick process really, so you should bear that in mind. Many a times our clients, they call us every month, every month they call us to find out what's happening. Please remember uh, not to call us so often to get an update, because we are very vigilant. Whenever we receive an update, we are required to update you simultaneously. So please always have some patience. You can't be contacting us every month. You will receive regular updates from us by email or by text. Rest assured. Okay. And again, during this verification process, there are chances that the case officer may ask for updated information. Updated information in terms of mainly the sponsor's income related documents or IRD statements or payslips. Anything that the case officer feels needs to have a second look, or a second look in the sense needs to have an updated version of that document. They are most likely to come back to us um, via email or via phone that they need further information, updated information, and then accordingly we will get in touch with you, and we appreciate that you organize such documentation required by the immigration officer well within the time frame. We will advise you how many days or how many weeks they have provided us to revert back to them. So that is another important thing to bear in mind. And while your case officer is actively going through your application, there are chances. I'm not saying it will happen, it may happen. The case officer might call you up for a telephonic interview. Now you must remember that this interview is never scheduled, they never give you a time and a date when they are going to call you. It will be just a random call on any, most likely on any working day between their working hours. So if you receive a call from your immigration officer, uh, I always recommend that you please ask their name. Uh, please ask their name. Please ask where they are calling from, where are they based, just to make sure that it is not a spam. Nowadays you get a lot of spam calls and you might end up giving confidential information to a spam caller. So just to make sure that you are not on a spam call, you please ask their information, and most likely the case officer also might ask you a few identifiers like your name, your date of birth, your residential address. But please remember never ever to give away your credit card number or bank account details or any confidential information, your online password or something. Never ever give this over the phone. If they ask for such information, you can very well tell them to get in touch with us if we are representing you, and we will forward this information to them through the official channel. Uh, yes, so please bear that in mind. And as a matter of our standard practice, we always uh, help you understand the nature of the questions that may be asked during such an interview. We provide you a list of likely questions that have come up in the past with similar other clients. And in some instances, if we feel that you need some extra training or we need to conduct some mock interviews to help you gain some confidence, we will organize a few things to make sure you are up to the mark and you are able to face such an interview. Last but not least, you must remember there is a whole bunch of other requirements to be met when it comes to making an application under the parent category. Uh, the main ones being the health, character, sponsors, income requirements, and your English language requirements. I mean, if I were to sit and discuss on these other topics, this video could end up into several hours really. So I will wrap up this video today. I don't want to carry on really uh, elaborating on all these minor things because it will be very lengthy for a video to go on. But we will discuss this with you once you have signed up with us. Uh, if at all you want to make an application for yourself or for your parents who are now overseas, you are welcome to get in touch with us, and we will be happy to help you. Um, and yes, finally, once your applications are approved, your residence visa labels are stamped on your passport. Nowadays, they have stopped issuing labels on the passport. This is another thing you must keep in mind because almost all the visas are being issued as e-visas, and they will simply email your e-visa to us, and which we normally forward it to you. You can take a printout and attach it to your passport, and you must make sure that you are traveling. Before you travel, you have your visa copy in your passport. Otherwise, they may stop you at the airport itself, you see. Right. So on and so forth. There are so many um, issues surrounding this application. I believe you have found my today's video useful. Uh, I hope it has given you a good amount of a fair idea about how this application is made, submitted, and finalized. And if you still have any further questions, you need further clarification, you are most welcome to call us. I always like to mention this in all my videos that due to the tricky nature of various visa applications, and some could be highly complicated, we highly recommend our viewers to avail professional help from a licensed immigration advisor at all times with any of your visa applications. At G.E.M.S International, we not only provide you professional help but expert advice, and you can reach us around the clock by either calling us or sending us a small text message. Uh, Not a whole paragraph really. Some people they send a very long text message. Please avoid that. Uh, just an initial text message that you would like to get in touch with us on our WhatsApp mobile number 00642217860007, and we will be glad to come back to you and schedule a time when we can discuss in depth regarding your situation. Thank you once again for taking the time to watch our video. Apart from visas for New Zealand, we also do visas for several other countries, and this list is too long for me to discuss over here. If you have any visa requirement for any country, please get in touch with us. Our contact details, website address, all details are provided in the comment section of this video. And we will be back again with another interesting video on how to make another different type of a visa application. Until then, thank you very much once again. Goodbye, stay safe, and see you next time.